Welcome to the Personal Development Mastery Podcast, your weekly dose of inspiration and growth. Today I'm delighted to be speaking with a very motivational individual. He's the owner of the award-winning outdoor bootcamp in Colchester, and he's helping people get fit, burn fat, and build confidence. So, Gabriel Beckett, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me, mate. I appreciate it. It's good.
It's my pleasure, and I wanted to speak with you for a while now, and I'm delighted that we meet face to face and do it now. And congratulations, by the way, on the award that you got. Was it yesterday?
Last night, yeah.
So, and that was the Community Club of the Year award from Active Essex Sports Awards.
Yeah, that's right.
How does it feel to have an award like that?
It's a really humbling experience. There was a lot of nominations, over 700 nominations, and to be nominated and win that award is incredible. Yeah, I feel like really honoured, and I couldn't have done it without my friends and members that helped supported me over the year and a half.
Amazing. Gabriel, I want to start this conversation by sharing some of your personal story, because I know there is a very powerful story you have. So going from a very low position emotionally and physically, from what I understand, to being where you are now with the bootcamp, getting awards, inspiring people and helping them to change their life, not just physically but also their mindset. So do you want to share some of the elements of your story before that rock bottom moment that you have? So tell us how you were before.
Yeah, so it's a long story, but I try to give you like the express because there's so many parts to it. It's not like a gradual, because people only see the successes now. They only see like what I'm winning now, the amount of members I have, what money I'm earning, external successes. But it's from years of like challenges. I was bullied at school from a very young age, which affected my confidence. My parents left when I was very young, so I developed like abandonment issues, which then built up insecurities in myself, in relationships, with friendships. So, and in fact, that's how I got into exercise at a young age, was because I was bullied at school and I wanted to build up a bit of confidence. I wanted to build up some muscles so that people wouldn't pick on me. So at a young age, I was bullied. I was made to feel worthless at school, and I failed all my GCSEs. And then through personal development and wanting to be the best version of myself, I was like, I want to be a personal trainer. So I was getting beat up on a Friday night, being a security guard. It was all like working night work, so I had no social life, and I just used to game all the time. And I fell into personal development, and I said, I watched an ET video on YouTube, and I just changed my life. I said, you know what, I'm going to do something I'm passionate about. I want to help people. I see personal trainers out there, and I know I could do a better job than them, or at least similar. So I invested everything that I had, all my money. I quit my job like 2 months later to pursue personal training.
How long ago was that?
That was 6 years ago.
Okay.
6 years ago. And because of the passion, because I wanted to be the best at what I do, I gained a lot of success quite quickly. It's not being a personal trainer is really hard in the industry. You have to do a lot of things for free. I had to learn about marketing, sales, but because I was so passionate about it, and I'm not the most knowledgeable trainer, but because I'm the most passionate and I care so much about who I train, I think that propelled my successes. So I worked with a company, and I managed to like grow a really good franchise with this company, 3 sites across Essex. With that also, I managed to have my own gym as well. So life was really good. I had my house, I had my girlfriend, my son was a year old. I was earning really good money. I was on top of my game. Life is just amazing at this point.
Okay.
But then I found myself really unhappy. Really unhappy. And because of what happened to me growing up with deep-rooted insecurities, lack of confidence. This is just all external stuff. This is like external happiness. I'd never dealt with the internal happiness of who I am inside. Am I morally a good person? You know, am I doing things for the right reason? It was all just about chasing money, and then because I loved what I was doing, you know, life was great, but I wasn't happy. You know, I was in a relationship just because I wanted to be in a relationship.
Okay.
I was growing numbers just because I was, you know, growing numbers. So I got quite consumed on the sales and marketing side of personal development, but none of the internal stuff about deep-rooted issues and dealing with, because it's just easier to run away from those issues. Then I found myself really unhappy in the relationship, and I had like an epiphany. I was like, you know what? I like my son is going to grow up in a really unhappy relationship. He's going to grow up with parents that don't love each other. So I left that relationship, which was like the catalyst of what everything from that point just spiraled out of control.
Okay. Before you go to that, the spiraling out of control, what caused that epiphany that you said? Was there any particular reason, that epiphany, that you don't want your son to grow in the...
I think it took up a few months. So where, you know, there was less contact with me and my partner at the time. I was really unhappy. I was finding myself like not wanting to get home.
Okay.
And I was just with my son one time, and I just realised, you know what, he's going to grow up in an unloving relationship. Because I didn't have my parents growing up, I was like, you know, I don't want that for my son.
Yeah.
I don't want that for my son. You know, I want him to grow up. Even if we're separated, I want him to have a mum that's happy. She might not be with me, but he's happy and she's in a loving relationship. And I'm happy with someone who actually I want to be with. And then he can grow up with, like, in love. So he's always been a really big motivator in my life. You know, because my dad left when I was quite young. I was like, when I was 4 or 5, and I was like, you know, I don't want my son to live that lifestyle because of the issues it's caused me, not having a father figure growing up. I don't want him to grow up in that environment. I want him to grow up with love, because it'll just deal with a lot of insecurities, you know. And
you were saying that things started spiraling down quickly.
Correct, like it just went absolutely out of control. So I was using, so when I ended the relationship, I was using women to like fill this void, this pain, just you know, just to sleep around, just to deal with this pain, you know, this to hide away from the fact that, you know, just breaking up with someone, you're trying to hide that heart. It doesn't matter who breaks up with anyone. A breakup's a breakup. With that person 4.5 years, you're going to be heartbroken. You know, you're going to miss your son. I went from seeing my boy every single day to now everything was every other day or like on the weekends. And and it just spiraled. So it went from like me leaving that relationship to me being kicked out of the house in a week. So I was homeless. So I was living in my office. I was still paying like the mortgage on that. I was still paying child maintenance. The gym that I had, you know, so I stopped with the franchises with my old business because I was going to pursue the gym full time. That ended really badly with my business partner, so he took the whole business away from me. So I didn't get paid for like 2 months. So 2 months of no income from that gym. I stopped with the franchises, so no money from that. Kicked out of my own house, and then over a gradual, let's say 4 to 6 months, then I was also, because I was sleeping around with these women, my ex thought I was not fit to have access to my son. I was mentally unstable. I'm struggling so bad at this point, you know. So I'm homeless. I've got no money coming in. I'm barely seeing my son. I don't know what I'm going to do with my life because I'm just a PT on the side, and so then I lose access to my son, and then that was a really tough time for me. That was a really bad part of my life, and then that's when I realised that I fell into a dark depression into my life, and so it was a really tough, challenging time. I don't feel like I'm doing it justice because it was, but what I realise now, looking back, that these are all external things, and each one, I think I suffer like if you were to just move house, that's a stressful situation, and being home, like living in my van, living in my office, having no money, I had to sell all my physical possessions. everything I've had since I was 17. Like, it's ridiculous things that you wouldn't think about your house, your sofa, your TV, your bed, your wardrobes, your clothes, iPads, laptops,
everything.
I had to sell everything just to pay off bills and debt and the mortgage and child maintenance. So I'm literally like so having the stress of debt as well is awful, absolutely like horrendous. If anyone going through debt, it's just like you just don't know how to live, how to pay, how you're going to get somewhere, how you're going to have food. You've got people chasing you with letters and phone calls. That's a massive stress. Losing access to your son. So 7 months I had no access to him over the last Christmas, like 7 months of no contact. And because I had no money, I couldn't take my ex to court.
Right.
So it was absolutely like, I mean, like, what am I going to do? Like, I've got no money coming in. I've lost my businesses. I'm homeless. You know.
And you said that you reached at some point a rock bottom, a
bottom,
turning point. Was that a moment, a day, or was it a period of time?
Well, looking back now, it's like depression. Because when someone used to tell me that they were depressed, I used to think it was just like something to get out of work. I never really understood mental health until I experienced it myself. And it's a gradual thing. Looking back now, I can see where the signs are. So it's like sleeping all day, not taking care of yourself, not wanting to get out of bed, not showering, not socializing, isolating myself, things that make me have no training, emotional eating, takeaways every night, drinking alcohol. I only socially drink, but I was drinking alcohol every night because it was easy just to hide away, like then face the problems of paying off money, debt.
It can be difficult to face, especially emotional issues. It's difficult because many people don't understand them. We're never taught about how to handle our emotional state.
Never. And you know, I'm not saying women don't go through it, but as a guy as well, you want to seem. I was taught, deal with your issues. You're a man up, grow some balls, go out there, man. Yes. You know, so I didn't speak to anyone for ages. I didn't want anyone to think I was weak. You know, I had all these successes from like a year ago. Yeah. Oh well, and I used to not maybe arrogant about it, but I used to be, oh yeah, I'm going to dominate. I'm going to be the best. Look at me now. I've got a gym. You can follow your dreams. You know, and I was trying to motivate people in that sense. And now I went from losing everything. All my confidence was rooted on that, not internal confidence. So then I felt like a loser. I felt like, and then I remember going through a time where I felt my son would be better off without me, because why would he want a dad like who's got no money, who's you know, just renting a room, who's got, you know, he's massive amounts of debt. He's not, you know, I thought he would live a better life than having me in his life.
It only shows how bad your emotional state
emotional
if you're
state
feeling
awful,
like that. Yeah. So how did that turn around then? What did you do?
Well, it's a gradual thing. So it got to this day. I remember this day, and I'm sitting there, and it's a lack of. So I remember. So I moved to Colchester. I was running the boot camp. This is the first few months of starting the boot camp.
Okay.
And I cancelled the sessions for a few days. I'm saying, I'm sorry guys, I'm going to take a few days off. And I remember just sitting there in my room, and I said, I'm going to take my life. I said, this is it, too much. I remember sitting there writing letters. So I wrote a letter to my ex, apologising for everything, all the pain that I put her through, and sorry for everything. And I remember writing a letter to my son, and I wrote him like, I'm so sorry, you know, for being this person, and that you're not going to see growing up, and I love you so much, and I'm pouring my heart out in this letter, and I'm just, you know, and I'm writing like scenarios like, oh, I really like, I'm sorry I won't be there for your wedding. I'm sorry I won't be there when you have kids and stuff, and hope that you can forgive me when you're old and stuff. So I'm not in this a massive emotional state. Even thinking about it, I could feel myself like getting all like this. And I had the knife in my hand. So I had a knife in my hand in my bedroom, and then you could literally just flip a coin. You could literally just like, I could be like, and it's weird to look back at it now, because I could like not be here. I could just like, I was seconds away from just, you know what, the pain is too much, heartbreak. I felt like the loneliest person in the world. No one loves me. No one cares about me. Everything will be better off. I can't deal with the stress of not having anything, no Like, I can't afford to do anything. No friends. I felt like I had no friends. No one's going to love me. Who's going to love someone like me?
Yeah.
I'm not seeing my son. You know, he's probably forgotten about me now. It's been 7 months. He's only young. He's like a year and a half. But fortunately, I managed to cry myself to sleep. So I was sleeping in bed, crying to sleep. And I also thought about my housemate as well. Like, you know what? I don't want her to come back, you know, and find me all blood everywhere and dead on, you know, in a spare room and stuff. So I was thinking, oh God, I don't want to do it for her. But I'm lucky. Unfortunately, I fell asleep. I woke up and then I was in a different emotional state. Okay. Then I realised I needed emergency help. Like emergency help. Like, if I didn't know it was depression. I just thought I was feeling a little bit like just sad and crying all the time, just like. But then I realised once I had those suicidal thoughts, I needed emergency. I need to seek out help from a professional because I can't be having a knife in my hand. Like, if you're in that state, something's wrong. Something like you. So I seeked out help from a therapist.
Yes.
Like a few days later, which helped massively. You got the Samaritans numbers as well that you call them up, have a chat, and it's good just to like offload a lot of emotions. Just having someone listening, and someone who's not going to judge you, because I've done a lot of awful things in my life, and I do believe in karma. I feel like everything that happened to me was because of what happened for me gaining this success. I did a lot of awful things to get to that place. Like quite a selfish person, and so it's like it's nice having someone that's not going to judge you, and that's someone like a bit of confession really. But it's like probably that's why people like going to church. It's like this confession. You get this off your chest.
Get it off your chest. Yeah, you feel much lighter when you confess something. And it's when it's a burden inside of you, and no one can tell how heavy it is apart from yourself. It doesn't show.
That's what it felt like, a massive burden. So I had so just offloading to this therapist was a massive turning point in my life. Like realizing that I needed help emotionally, to know that I'm only human, that these struggles are normal, and that took a period of a few months. But from that, so a therapist or counsellor, they will help manage those emotions for you, but then they also teach you how to manage your emotions yourself, which I've never been taught how to manage my emotions. I just like, if I get angry, I get angry. If I feel insecure about something, I just let them, I deal with my emotions and my actions and stuff. If I'm really happy, I'll do crazy different things, like, and I'm going to buy loads of stuff because I'm really happy, and I've got a bonus, so I'm going to spend all my money on stuff. So you're in an emotional state. But I learned through therapy and counselling, like how to manage emotions, and that was the turning point in my life. And then so it was realising all my happiness was based on external things. So for all those years, I depended on, I was going to be happy when I had my gym, when I was having these successful bootcamp sites, when I was in a relationship, my son, all that money, you know, how I looked, you know, that's all external success, external validation. So when I'm a house, and when I lost everything, all of it, all 4 or 5 of them in like a space of 2-3 months.
Yes.
No wonder I fell into like a massive depression, and I felt like nothing was worth.
And you know what? It's not. I think many people have the same associations with happiness. It's all external things. 100%, they think that they will be happy when they get the job, when they get the house, when they get the girl, the boy, whatever it is, something external. And we live our life chasing from one thing to the other, because once we get the car, then we want the next thing.
You'll never be happy.
The next thing, and then the next thing. You'll never be happy.
You'll never be happy.
Like
never.
This. And when you realize that happiness comes from within you, and you can be happy if you choose to be happy, because it's an emotion you can create yourself, then the external things will follow. But the external things can give you some sense of happiness which is very transient. It won't last. It's not the deep fulfillment. That can only come from inside.
Yes, 100%. Yeah, I completely agree with that.
Yeah.
It's so when I learn and I train myself, like, right, these are my weaknesses, my insecurities, my external happiness is. I realised what my issues were, and I just dealt with them, which is a really scary thing to do. That's really scary, to like open up your heart to a therapist or anyone and just say, right, this is what I need help with. and and sit there, deal with your emotions, process them with loads of different methods, meditation, counselling, journaling. And it takes it takes time. It's like a muscle, you know, working out. First few times you're not going to like it. It's uncomfortable. I'd never really like a meditation, but after a few months, I love it. You know, it's
a game changer.
It's game changer. Journaling as well. If you had told me I'll be meditating and doing journaling, I'd be like, well, you're absolutely crazy. Like, that's crazy. That's for like all that woo-woo stuff, you know, and the Buddhists and that's not me. But it did change. It changed my life, like how to manage the emotions. And then I realised, so like I'm in charge of my own happiness. And then what helped me become happy was helping other people. So, and then I was realising I couldn't change external events, but I could change what I did to those events. So I had no access to my son, right? It was right. There's nothing I can do about that situation. Nothing I can do. So all I can do now is grow the business and help other people get their results. The more people I help achieve their goals, the more people will help me with my goals, which is money. Then I can take my ex to court.
Okay.
So I just dealt with like, right, there's nothing I can do. If I'm not seeing him, I'm not seeing him. He's healthy as far as I know. I had no access, no communication. So that was it. And that is what spiraled over the last year and a half. Is just helping other people, like raising money for mental. Then I realised, well, oh God, if I'm going through this, loneliness, depression, lack of confidence and insecurities, you know, there are other people out there. There must be.
Oh, yes.
There must be, and then you see it on social media, everyone's happy, everyone's living life, but everyone's in happy relationships, and I know that's not true. So I wanted to build a community of people where they can. I know if I go straight into people and say, "Oh, you got to meditate, you got to read books, you got to go for walks, look after your nutrition," they're not going to listen to me, because being positive is a really like unpopular thing. But I know that what I can do is if I can
lead by example,
and then intertwined it into bootcamp, like, so do the litter picking. What's the litter picking doing? It builds a sense of community where everyone can just come along.
Yeah,
we're doing something for the environment. They feel great for doing it. They get to chat to new people they've never met before, and they feel great. They're getting out there, they're getting their fresh air, and they do a little bit. The same with the food bank. We donate for the food bank a lot, once every few months. Everyone chips in a few cans of, and I just remind them, like, there are a lot of people that are unfortunate. Like, I've been there where I can't afford food, and especially around Christmas time, like, it must be really hard for a parent to not be able to like afford food, really struggling, and to say to their kids, "Sorry, we can't give you an advent calendar because we've got no money." So for us to be really like help out in that scenario makes the members feel great. We're helping out for the community and this charity. They're so grateful for us doing it as well. The social events that we do for bootcamp as well. So it's not just turn up, train and go. We make sure that we do like meals, nights out, loads of different social events just to get people interacting with each other. Because I know there's people that turn up, it's their escape. Because for me, my training was my escape. When I realised that I had to get myself out of this funk, right? When I realised, right, I'm in charge of my own happiness, I just poured everything into my training. Right, I don't like running, so I'm going to run a marathon just to do something that's going to clear my mind. I hate burpees, but I'm going to burpee around Abbey Fields for like 4 hours, you know.
Yeah,
I'm going to do, I'm just going to pour all my energy into training. And it just helps, like, because I feel like when you're in physical pain, discomfort.
Yes.
You're not thinking about money. You ain't thinking about, you know, little silly things that you overthink about, and loneliness. You're just thinking about, I need to just finish this 10-mile run, this 20-mile run. When's it going to stop? So it was like my therapy. Being like physically active was my therapy to like, oh, right, I want to keep it. And I become obsessed with it, and I loved it. And I want to, so I know the power of physical activity. And so I want to show that in the community with my members, promote it throughout Colchester. I have a big goal of helping 1,000 people. Like we have over 100 members at bootcamp.
Say that again, the goal?
Help 1,000 people in Colchester get fit, active, build more confidence.
Awesome.
So that's my big end goal. And if I don't reach it, it doesn't really matter. It's the goal's there. Yeah, I'm 1/10 of the way there. And I think just having that mindset is really helped grow the business. From when I came to like, I want to dominate and I want to put everyone out of business and I just want to be the best. It's gone from that competitive mindset to more, I just want to help people. And just that switch, just from helping people, has made me more successful in that because for me now, because I've lost everything, I lost everything. Like money's not a big motivator for me now. It's because I know what it's like to live in a van. I know what it's like to sleep on a mattress in my office, a blow-up bed. You know, I know what it's like to not have my son.
Yes.
But helping other people is that really lights me up. And seeing people build friendships and seeing people like build their confidence to leave toxic relationships or do a job they love. Or if I was to inspire them or other people to inspire, oh wow, that person's lost 4 stone and now they're in a relationship. Or this person couldn't run to the roundabout, now they're running 5Ks, 10Ks, a marathon. That's what really buzzes me. That's what really gets me going, because that's what changed my life. Nothing special about me. I'm not physically the best or anything, but I push myself. Like, I'm just a hard worker, and I just want to show people that they can do it. And so, and it's through that message of just being positive, through exercise, helping others, helping the community, helping yourself. Has really changed everything for me. And so like now I still have to pinch myself, because you know it's nice having these awards and stuff, but it's even nicer to think how far I've come from this time last year, like with the knife in my hand, with the letters written out to my son and my ex, to having absolutely nothing apart from a dream that maybe I can make something of myself, maybe I can rebuild my life, maybe I am someone, but I wouldn't change any of it. I wouldn't change one thing, because it led me down this path of seeking out internal happiness, like, and seeking out, for me now, success isn't based on external things. It's all based on me. Like, I don't need a relationship now to make me happy. You know, I can deal with loneliness. Like, loneliness is awful, like really, really bad. It's like you just, you know, you might see on like social media, oh, Gab's doing loads of social events. He's out all the time with friends, dates and this and that. But really, like, suffering massive amounts of loneliness. That you can be in a big, massive group of people. People can be messaging you all the time or meeting up, but you can still feel lonely. You can still feel like you're worthless. And and just sitting there on your own. But I made it into a strength. I was like, you know what? I'm going to turn this loneliness into something. Into my best friend. Right, let's go gym. Let's do some rock climbing. Let's go for a run. Let's listen to a podcast. Let's educate, read a book. I've made it into like, right, I'm okay to be in my own company, sitting there on my own, writing my thoughts out. It's a good emotion. I know how to control my emotions now.
And you know, it was something you said earlier that when you were earlier on, when you had the success, the money, the boot camps, the gym, you were afraid to show what was going on inside, because a man has to show in a certain way that they look in a certain way. You have to, you know, we're not, as men, we're not expected sometimes by the society to express our weak side, but we are humans as well. We have weaknesses, and what you do now by sharing this story, by becoming vulnerable and sharing these things, I think that for me is much more inspiring than looking at someone looking at someone's successes only, which many people can't relate to, because I don't know, some people might understand what I'm saying, that especially with social media, what's going on, people tend to post the highlights, the good times that definitely they have. But it's not like that. So if you just focus on the successes, the highlights, and you think that that's how people live their life, and what's wrong with me because I have my low moments as well, that is wrong. For me, it's more inspiring when you hear someone's weaknesses, vulnerabilities, and how they can get over that, rather than looking at an end product or even a fake image.
And I've fallen for that. You know, we live in a social media age.
Yeah.
We live in a social media age where I'd only post my successes and me being in fantastic shape and me and my loving relationship and my everything's so good for me and I'm so happy and I'm so positive and confident. Yeah. And I was basing my ego and my on social media likes and comments and being popular.
Yeah. The fake book.
Fake 100%. Because, and again, from deep-rooted insecurities. Deep-rooted insecurities. But I had to lose everything to appreciate, like, there's a quote I love, it's like, it's you only free when you've lost everything. I think it's like that. Or you're only free to do anything when you've lost everything. And because I had literally lost everything, I could rebuild the person that I wanted to be in life. And now because I understood mental health and because I understand marketing and because I understand sales, I use social media now in a different way to show like it's okay to ask for help. Like I share things not on this because I want likes now. I want to share things because I like the message behind it, the numbers for the Samaritans, doing charitable events, not because it's cool, just because it means something to me. And like I know, like as a man, it's hard for you to open up. I find you always take like man up, grow some balls, like you can do it. And so it was always really hard because I didn't want to see my friends, well, so-called friends, like see me weak because they're the ones that turn into like they're looking for me for inspiration. They're looking for me for. I'm the trainer. I'm the one who's got everything. Why am I going to then say, actually, guys, I haven't got my shit sorted? It's a really like hard place, and it takes a lot of courage to do that. I find so anyone that can do it, it's a lot of courage to like
absolutely to share your weak moments, your vulnerability. But that's really this authenticity is what for me is more inspiring. Rather than anything else.
Just have to get rid of all ego, all everything. Like it doesn't really matter because at the end of the day, nothing does matter anyways. And so what? And it's like because everyone wants. It's I think it's built into us. We always want people to like us. So you're only posting things that when they like us.
Yes.
You know. So if I post that, I need help, guys. I'm a personal trainer, but I need work because I haven't got many PT clients. I'm a cleaner. I don't want people seeing that. You know. But it's only when you're in that vulnerable state you can ask for help, and then when you ask for, I do believe if you ask for help, people out there are going to help you.
Yes,
you know. And I was very like in that mind that people are quite selfish. People aren't going to, because I was like that. So I was just portraying in the world what I saw in myself. People are selfish. People don't really care. But what I found was like there are people out there that I've not even met that were helping me out, messaging me every night, calling me, making sure I was okay. It's everything, just that emotional support from complete strangers that don't even know me. And it made me realise there are good people out there, and that I can be a good person. That I can be one of those people. Yeah.
Gabriel, let me ask you in a little bit different twist. How do you think personal development has played a role in all this transformation of yourself?
That's a big question, man. So personal development changed my life. So I was a security guard doing security work, and then I watched an Eric Thomas video, and it got me all motivated. I sold my Xbox, and I was like, you know, I'm going to be a personal trainer, and it helped push me to become a better person. I thought there was more in life. I could achieve more in life rather than living in this matrix of have a job, live for the weekends, get your girlfriend house, retire when you're 60, 70. It just blew my mind that there was another world out there where you could do something that you absolutely love, you're passionate about it, and you can do it while earning money. So it was a really good, and I was learning all this information about facing fear. So I was facing all my fears. I built up a lot of confidence from like doing public speaking, bungee jumps, fear of heights. I was doing everything to like better myself, consuming books and podcasts from Tony Robbins, Les Brown, Eric Thomas, Rob Moore, like anyone and everyone, Grant Cardone, Gary Vee, you know, absolutely just transformed. I was like, oh my God, what's this world about? It just changed everything about me. So that will help with, I find, but I think it depends on where you are in your life. So, but I only took like the money aspect of it. I only took the marketing aspect of it. I only took like the external aspect of it. And it's only in the last, I'll say, 5 to 6 months. There's also another part of personal development with like the internal personal development.
Yes, of course.
Which and that I find, I wish I'd learned that when I was a teenager, and I can't stop, like, because that is really what makes me happy now. The stoicism stuff, the internal happiness stuff, like forgiveness, letting go, Buddhism. I'm not a Buddhist, but I love the concept of Buddhism and like how to manage your attachments and attachments to things and letting go and being present in the moment. Because like, you know, when you're suffering depression, you're thinking about the past. I'm thinking about all these things I used to have. Or if I have anxiety, it's because I'm thinking about the future. Oh, I want this house. I want to live this and that. But when you really come down to it, what really makes like, and because I've hit rock bottom, like, what do we really need to make us happy? You know, food, warm bed. My son's healthy. I'm in great. You know, I'm in good, healthy shape. You know, I have access to good people. You know, I don't live in a third world country where I'm getting bombed or someone's going to mug me or kill me or I'm fearing for my life. We've got free healthcare. If you were to strip all the external things, actually life is really, really good, you know. And because I've been to rock bottom, it's not even, it's scary at the time, but I know I can overcome it now with this mindset. So I really love that side of personal development. But I would, if anyone wants to get into it, I'll say like, yes, external successes are good for whatever personal reasons that you have, but then also make sure that you deal with those insecurities, those deep-rooted issues that everyone has. Everyone's like insecurities about themselves, or they don't think they're worthy enough, or confidence. For me, that is like, all that stuff is more important now because I feel like I'm catching up. I feel like I'm catching up on all that stuff that I should have learned when I was like,
I know exactly
much
what
younger.
you mean, because I'm in a similar journey. I wish I had delved into the personal development stuff when I was a teenager or in my 20s. But well, it's better late than never. One other thing I wanted to ask you is, I've noticed how you keep on pushing yourself out of your comfort zone by doing things that you haven't done before, like the public speaking, for example, or you were doing that courage over comfort challenge. So tell us about that, why you do that, and what you have gained by pushing yourself constantly out of your comfort zone.
I think so. I was like, back to when I was a teenager, I was such a loser. I was overweight. I had no friends. I was bullied at school. I was just so out of touch of everything. I didn't know how to speak to anyone. I had no friends. I remember like being scared to pick up the phone to order a takeaway from my parents or taxi or anything. Like pure fear, real like like real just like a complete loser. And I mean that in the nicest sense. Like, I was just completely I was just nothing. I felt like nothing. But I realised the more that you push yourself outside your comfort zone, I can't remember what book this was or what, but the more I pushed myself, the more confidence I gained in myself.
Absolutely.
The more I developed my self-esteem. So the more I'm scared to talk to people, or I'm scared to talk to girls, the more I pushed myself to speak to girls, the more confident I became around girls. You know,
there's no other way to get confident, is there?
No, it's
by
you
doing what you don't want to do.
100%. Even as a trainer, like, you can be qualified as a trainer, but still lack confidence. The more confident I got was like pushing myself in those uncomfortable situations, like boot camp scenario. Training one-to-one person is hard, but now imagine training 30 people, 40 people. I've trained up to 50 people in one go.
Oh, wow.
Boom, boom, boom. 50 people all listening. You have to grow into that.
Yes.
And that's what built up a lot of confidence. So if I feel like, so I'm very in tune now with my emotions. If I feel like I don't want to do something, I have to do it. So I see like fear as an arrow of things that I need to do. So if I'm scared of heights, that's it. I'm doing height work. Go clip and climb, climbing, bungee jump, skydiving, boom, I have to do it. If I fear public speaking, I need to head towards public speaking, boom, boom. If I have a limiting belief in my head about what I physically can do, I hate running, I don't want to run, boom, sign up to a marathon. Now I have to run, now I have to do it, regardless if I can do it or not. And then when you do that, you build up a lot of confidence in yourself. Like I said, now my happiness is internal. Like I need to make myself happy, so I push myself. And then you can't overthink about stuff. Where I suffer with a really overthinking mind, when you're put in those situations of fear, you're not thinking about money. You're not thinking about that person bitching about you. You ain't thinking about all these little silly things because you're so engrossed into like overcoming this thing of like, say, public speaking. You know? So I have a fear of public speaking, and I spoke to the council.
You did a public speech recently, haven't you?
Yeah. Okay. So I was doing.
Was that your first one?
Second one. No, third.
Oh, all right.
Yeah,
so
third.
Okay.
I don't think it gets easier. Well, it does get easier, but it's like. So it was for the council. And they invited me in to talk to their staff.
Okay.
And I literally thought it was going to be for like 5 people around a table. Literally, I thought it was going to be like this table.
How many were there?
50 people plus. I'm going in real chill. I'm really casual. I'm really and I walk in. It's like, and they welcome me at the door. Thanks, guys, for coming in. Oh, by the way, it's a bit more than what we expected. I was like, well, how many more expected? I'll open the door. Open the door, and then it's 50 people, and they're all like, it's like a big classroom hall thing, and they're all waiting for me to.
All right.
And I'm like, oh my god, like my heart's pounding and my heart's pumping, and it's just. But I was like, right, I'm gonna have to do it. And then if you speak from your heart, I find it's like, if I try to pretend, if I try to be like Eric Thomas, or I try to be like Grant Cardone, or something that I'm not, it's just going to bring off a different vibe. But if I can speak from experiences and what I've come through, and that's it, because I'm not lying about anything. I did overcome depression. I did want to kill myself. I have lost everything. I have built up a community of people that we inspire positive change. You know, if I talk about things that I've done and I know I've done, and that's it. And if they find it inspiring, and if they find it helps them, then you know that's all it is.
Authenticity speaks into people's hearts. If you try to be someone that you're not, people will smell it from miles away.
Yeah, and
you're
I
a fake if you do.
And I did it when I suffered with insecurities. I would make up lies so people would like me. You know,
I have done that as well, Gabriel. I think many of us would have had something like that.
And no one's perfect. I think everyone does it. I think everyone, you know, if you're honest with yourself, you have like, I know I was told lies to make myself seem better than I am.
Yeah.
You know.
Or even concealing the truth, maybe, if not telling blatant lies, but hiding the truth.
Hiding it, like, you know.
Yeah, I think we all have been guilty of that one time or the other.
But facing fears for me is like, if you want to grow fast in life, really grow fast, the fastest way is to push through every fear that you have. Write a list of things that you hate doing, fear doing, heights, falling, spiders, you know, public speaking, starting your own business, asking that girl out. Anything that you fear doing, you have to do, and put yourself in situations. So if there's for example, I've got this height thing, massive fear of heights. I put myself in a situation where I can't back out because I'm surrounded by my friends. And I say to them, make sure I don't back out. I have to do it. So make sure you have people around you that push you to do things that you know you should do. If the public speak, if I say I'm going to agree to do something, I've committed to this person. I'm not going to let them down. Now it pushes me to do it. But for me, growth, if you want to grow fast, face every single fear, and then you realise it's not as scary as you think it is. Yes, there might be rejection. Yes, you might ask that girl out, but they say no, they're not interested. That's absolutely fine. You know, if you start your business and fail, so what? You know, I've lost everything, and I can tell you, it's not as looking back now, it's not as bad. Mm-hmm. You know, it's not as bad as most people think it is. You know.
Thank you. There is something different that I wanted to ask, since you are a personal trainer and you also focus on nutrition. So, in a nutshell, what's wrong with what people eat today, or how could they improve? In a nutshell, of course, it's a very big topic. We would have an episode on its own, but just some highlights of what you think are the key nutritional elements for someone to, you know, improve their health, their vitality, their energy.
So I think there's 3 things. There's definitely so it's like sleep, stress management,
okay,
and then nutrition plays a really big role. And water nutrition goes down as one. Because you might have a really good diet, but if you're not sleeping well and your stress is all over the place, it's going to mess it up. For me, those are the 3 pillars of mental and physical health, sleep, nutrition, which is also water, and stress management. Before you even think about training, before you even think about what food you're putting into your mouth, those three. It's just, and then with the nutrition side, it's just because everyone's just comfortable. No one likes being hungry. No one, if you don't, I don't like vegetables, but I have to force myself to have vegetables. And it's so easy to have quick, fast, easy food. You got Deliveroo. It's a little bit cheaper in the shops. But if people realise like you're investing in your own health, it's an investment. When you eat good, you do feel good. You do feel good. When you drink more water, you do drink that. You feel better in yourself.
Absolutely.
I think a lot of people just don't want to feel uncomfortable, but it's realising it's okay if you want to lose weight. Because no one talks about it. If you're going to lose weight, you're going to be hungry, but no one talks about that. They just want to be like, yeah, you can have your salad and your vegetables and your meats, and you're going to be absolutely fine. They don't, but no, I don't think no trainer talks about hunger. It's okay to be hungry, and if you've got fat to lose, and if you can grip and you've got fat to lose, it's okay. You're not going to die, and that's another uncomfortable situation to be in. But you will develop a really good, strong mindset and discipline with that. The kids that are in Africa, in South America, and they haven't eaten for days, they're the hungry ones. Just because you've gone a week without having a pizza, you ain't going to die. You ain't going to. That was one of the biggest changing points, like learning that it's okay to be hungry.
Do you do any fasting?
I don't do any fasting. Oh no, I do a little bit of fasting. Yeah, so it depends on
intermittent fasting. And
sometimes, but because I understand calories. If I have a big breakfast and big lunch, then I probably will skip dinner.
Okay.
Because for me, it's calories in, calories out. Or if I've gone out for the weekend, which like for this week, I'm going to celebrate. I might not eat anything in the morning and lunch, and then have my calories in the evening. So it's not like set times or anything, but I understand calories. Or if I realise, I've put on a bit of weight, then I'll put it back for a few days, week, step up the training. But people aren't prepared to. They just want to be. People are comfortable, and it's being okay. Like, right, set systems in place to push you out. Food prep. Go get a bag out, empty your cupboards of bad foods. Like I know, trigger foods are biscuits. I can't have one biscuit. Give it to you can't give me 2 biscuits. I'm a whole pack kind of guy. I'm gonna have a whole pack. So what I don't have biscuits. It's just easier for me not to have biscuits. So it's understanding like what people's triggers are as well with nutrition.
Okay, absolutely.
A little bag of I can't have a little bag of crisps.
Crisps are it's.
I have to have a full family bag of crisps,
Yeah, and then you just lick the salt from the bottom of the bag. Whereas with a banana, you can't. If you have a banana, you won't carry on eating bananas. It's your body knows, I think, the difference. It knows that it gets the nutrients. Whereas with crisps or with biscuits, it's just something empty. So you can eat the whole box. Your body won't feel the nutritional value. That's why. And
I do find there's so much overlap with everything. So the nutrition will play part of your mental health as well. Self-love and self-care. Like if you're not looking after yourself and your body and what you put into your mouth will affect how you see yourself mentally. So that's a really big part. Like if you're like struggling with how you look and that's affecting your confidence, what you put into your mouth is going to play a big role in that. Because I think it's a form of self-love and self-care. Like you only got one body. You got and I think people don't appreciate it until they're in that
they lose
in a health.
Yeah.
The amount of people that have come to me for personal training because now the doctor says if they don't lose this weight or they're not living a more active lifestyle, then they're going to die when they're 45.
Yeah.
Then that's when that fear kicks in. It's good to be better prepared. Like have like some safety things, like start exercising now, even if it's walking. People think it has to be like in a sweaty gym, but I do loads of walks. Go for a walk. Do Pilates, yoga, and with nutrition, keep it simple. Have some vegetables. If you're having 2 takeaways a week, have 1 takeaway a week. Nothing crazy, just making small little changes in there. Rather than having like that chocolate bar at lunchtime, swap it for a bit of fruit, or rather than buying things out, make it homemade. So if you fancy a Chinese, make a homemade Chinese and you save yourself like half the calories. If you want to fancy a pizza, make a homemade pizza. Again, save yourself half the calories. Drinking more water will help deal with hunger, and then understanding it's okay to be hungry. I always feel that's your body like eating away its fat. But it will play a big role into mental health. I feel like it's a form of self-love. What you put into your body.
Absolutely. Right.
Boom.
Thank you, Gabriel. And I want to ask some quick fire questions as well. Some of
God,
them,
okay.
You've already answered them, what personal development means to you. You've already mentioned that, but there are some that I always like to ask people. And one of them is, let's say you were able to go back in time and meet your 20-year-old self.
Yeah.
What would you tell him? What lessons would you give him that could change his life?
Dealing with like internal happiness and what really, what really makes you happy, and just and deal with those insecurities, those jealousies, those like, and when you, because I was really, when you go into personal development, you can get quite caught up in the lifestyle of like the money and being a famous speaker, and you like doing massive amounts of workshops and having your own book out, and you can get caught up in that, not realizing like what do you want to do that's going to make you happy, and dealing with like in-rooted issues, like you can still have those dreams, but don't make it the focus of your happiness, because it can all just go, like you can die at any moment. I will tell him that you will die at any moment. So make sure that you're living each day the best that you can as a good moral person, helping other people, and deal with your emotions. Learn how to deal with your emotions, like the Stoicism stuff, the Buddhism stuff.
Yes.
That is like deal with like your emotions. Like look, because we're not dealt. Like, you don't know how to deal with emotions. And you can self-sabotage yourself with success, which I've done plenty of times. I earn good amounts of money or get myself a really hot girlfriend, and I ruin it because I'm not emotionally there. That will just save people a lot of heartache and a lot of pain. Or at least like, give you the tools to handle them.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes, certainly. What's a mistake that you've made over the last, say, year or more, if you want to go, that you could share with people to help them, prevent them from making the same mistake? What's a big mistake that you would like people to avoid, that you've made yourself?
I think just focus on external things, external happiness. Like if you just focus on money, I just want to earn money just because I want to earn money. I want a holiday, I want a house, I want the car. That caused me more stress and more unhappiness. It's like I don't know what it's called, but the more you the less I focus on that and just focus on helping people, that's just a byproduct. Money is just a byproduct. I'm not focusing on, right, if I get 200 members, that's going to earn me blah, blah, blah a month. I'm just focusing on, if I help 200 members, I know in the back of my mind, that's going to help me fund a lifestyle. But let me just focus on helping these people. Are they enjoying the sessions? Are they turning up? Am I doing the best job that I can do? And that's, so that's all that's the biggest mistake, was just focusing on money, focusing on being because I was like trying to grab a relationship because I was dealing with loneliness, not actually dealing with the loneliness. I'm just covering it up with someone who could just give me part-time, emotional support. We're not dealing it with myself. So don't just chase one thing to make you happy, external things. Internal thing to chase what makes you happy. The biggest mistake is if you're just going for money's sake, it's not going to make you happy. You just want a girlfriend for the sake you want a girlfriend, it's not going to make you happy.
And what's a big aha moment you had, the biggest you had last year?
The biggest aha moment, I think it's just like get into this like this Stoicism stuff. Like I know I'm repeating the same thing again, but it's like I'm in charge of my life. That was like I'm in charge of my emotions, and I'm in control of my actions, and everything else I don't worry about. My stress levels are like almost nil now for the last 2-3 months. Because I just focus on what I can do. And then forget about everything else. I can't control members cancelling. I can't control people bitching about me. I can't control if someone likes me or not. Or, all these... I can't control if my van breaks down. All I can control is what I'm in control of. Can I maintain my van? Yes. Am I doing the best service I can at bootcamp? Am I looking after my health? Am I reading? Am I doing my journaling, meditation? Am I eating healthy? And then if I just focus on that... That saved me so much stress. That was the biggest aha moment for me. Just Just focus on what you can control. You are in control of everything, your actions, and then forget everything else.
Thank you. Yes.
Forget everything else, because that's what's causing people stress. They're thinking about the future. They're thinking about if people like them. Forget all that. And that was like, that changed my life. That was a really big aha moment for me as well.
And one more. If you had a magic wand and you could change something in the world as it is today, what would you change?
Oh man, that's a hard one. I don't know. I probably wouldn't change anything. I mean, obviously there's a lot of suffering out there in the world, a lot of pain if you think about like the whole world and stuff. But there's two sides of that. Without that suffering, that you wouldn't have people going out their way to try to help that suffering. So it shows the goodness in people. So if I was to say, let's stop all suffering and people not living in poverty, then people wouldn't have to show that good side of them and do all these nice good causes. Maybe I would just like people just to maybe just live more true to themselves, more like if they're really passionate about something, just to give them a little bit of courage to just do it and try it. And if it fails, it fails, and it's okay. It's okay to fail. It's okay to lose everything. It's okay to like. I'd like to give people just this like, because sometimes I just want to shake someone. Like I see the potential in someone. I just want to shake them. I'm like, what are you doing? So
wake up.
Yeah. Wake up, come on, you can do it. You can, if you want to be a photographer, do it. Come on, you can just do it. And so just to give people a little bit more confidence in themselves, a little bit more courage. But then we're all doing that anyways. Like if I just live my life to the best I can, maybe that will inspire that person to be like, give them that little boost. If everyone was to do it, they'd be like, these people are doing it. Maybe I should give it a go. Yeah, I think a little bit like, that's probably what I'll do.
Brilliant, thank you. And Gabriel, how can people find out more about you? How can they connect with you?
Well, I've only got a business account on Facebook, Instagram, so Colchester Bootcamp. They can follow me on there, or they can add me on Facebook, Gabriel Beckett. But that's all it really at the moment. I try to keep everything private-ish. I don't want to put. But next year I'll push a bit more with some speaking stuff.
So the bootcamp is in Abbeyfields in Colchester.
That's right.
You run it every day, don't you?
Monday to Saturday.
Monday to Saturday. Yes,
every day.
Okay.
So they can turn up, talk to me, come along for a training session. Definitely. I'm different in a bootcamp session than I am here. A bit more meaner right there.
I think you must.
You wanted this, more burpees. Mindset, baby, mindset. That's what I say. Uncomfort, seek it. So that's what I say. Like, seek discomfort, more burpees. So, yeah, good.
Brilliant. Thank you very much.
Thank you for having me.
For the interview. Thank you for and I believe it's your first podcast interview.
First podcast, yeah.
I'm honored to be the one doing that interview, and something tells me that you're going to do much more in the future. So. Thanks again. I wish you all the best and all the best.
You've been great. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much for listening. Please take a moment to subscribe, rate and review this podcast on iTunes, Spotify or Stitcher. And until next time, stand out, don't fit in.